Hi everybody, I'm the Drink Pro, and today we're sampling Yellowstone 101 from 2019. Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. It's Kyle, the Drink Pro. Glad you're joining me again for this Sample Sunday. I've got a really great pour from Matt Gant. Cheers, thank you very much, Matt. This is the Yellowstone 101, which is their special edition, and this is the 2019 version. Now, it's 101 proof, and the 101 special edition is a blend, they claim, of their 9-year-old and 12-year-old barrels. Now, that's from the Yellowstone press release, so I'm not certain what else might be in there, or how else they're doing this. They have special numbers on these bottles. This is bottle 8196, so thanks, Matt, for so much detail. And it also says the sample was from a half-full bottle. Now, as I've talked about before, that can really affect things depending on how long the bottle was open. Matt provided this sample in this lovely little ball jar. I've never actually seen one of these. And it's a 4-ounce sample, so definitely cheers to Matt, because it gives me a little bit extra to enjoy later on when the cameras aren't on. But it also presents a bit of a problem, because I don't know how I'm going to pour this into my glass. So I think I've got a solution, though. Now I've got a little spout to pour. Hey, look at that. Perfect pour. Thanks again, Matt. Let's drink this up. Now, I don't have a lot of information about the 101 Yellowstone. I haven't tried it before. I've seen it a lot in stores, and I've seen the retail around $100, which is typically a price point that's pretty high for me. I tend to stay away from things over about $80. If I'm paying $80 for a whiskey, it's unusual when we're talking bourbon. I know that the Scotch, point of diminishing returns is higher. It's more expensive, particularly now in the United States with our tariffs, which is a whole other issue. A $100 bottle better be damn good for me to recommend buying it. It doesn't mean I won't enjoy it, but to suggest you buy it, it better be very good at a $100 price point. Okay, so let's go ahead and nose this whiskey. Ooh, God, it smells good on the nose, guys. Oh, it's very woody. The oak is very prominent. But it's also got a lot of brown sugar and maybe some sap, maple syrup. Oh, wait. I'm getting a nuttiness now. I'm almost getting like a candied pecan or a candied walnut. Oh, that's a great nose. As I let it air out a little bit, I get some more of those baking spices. This is a really wonderful, complex nose. Some cherry starting to come out too. I get this weird nuttiness with the sugar, with the cherry. I love all the different facets here. There's definitely some vanilla, but it's not as prominent as a lot of vanillas, particularly in bourbon, where vanilla can really just come out very sharp and bright. Oh, and there's almost a slight sourness, like a sour cherry, but that nuttiness and the sugar and candy is just, oh, it's wonderful. I love the smell of this pour. This is just something special. I hope the taste can live up to the smell. All right, let's taste it. It's a beautiful color. I don't do that a lot. I don't really eye these whiskeys, but the color on this is fantastic. It's a beautiful whiskey. First off, right away, you come in a little soft and sweet, and then boom, you get this woodiness. And then as the woodiness dissipates, you start to get to these fruit notes. And the finish, you get a little bit of heat, a hint of spice. And as it lingers on my tongue, it keeps changing on me. It's just, ugh. As I go back to it on the nose after tasting, I definitely get some orange. And maybe even a creaminess, which is a note that you often get on the mouth, but you can also get on the nose. It's like smelling whipped up egg whites into a custard, or it can be like an ice cream, a roundness that comes from milk or ice cream. So that oak right away. And you know what, actually, I think it goes the sweetness, then sort of like a leather note, and then the oak. People who smoke cigars are going to be really familiar with leather notes in your palate. But I think a lot of people don't have a perspective for what leather tastes like. It's a weird thing to talk about. But there's a certain like rich dryness that comes with a leather flavor that can be really pleasant when it just fits in there like it does with this pour between a sweet taste and sort of a bitter, interesting taste. And then, you know, the mid palate is soft on this. It's pretty quiet. There might be a little bit of floral notes in there. There's not too much happening, but there's a wonderful spice that lingers throughout the finish. Definitely has some herbal notes. Almost want to say maybe a spearmint, maybe. Oh, there's a toffee note in the middle. It's like a nutty toffee. And the finish is so soft, delicate. Usually with a 101 proof, I get some unpleasant things on the back end. Honestly, it's not one of my favorite proofs, and I couldn't exactly tell you why. But a lot of 101 or 100 proof whiskeys, you get the sharpness or the unpleasantries at the end. This one is very powerful and forward in the early mid palate, but the finish is very delicate and soft, which is sort of the reverse of what I expect from a lot of whiskeys. I'm trying really hard to review this and give you notes and be objective, but it's just so fucking good. I just want to drink it. I am hard pressed to recommend a $100 whiskey to go out and buy it. This one should be purchased. 2019 Yellowstone 101, guys. The limited edition run. It is fan-damn-tastic. It does all these interesting things. It does everything right. I think pulling up a review and checking your notes and comparing it to others is something that's fun. It's worth doing. It's something I've recommended to other people, so I figured if I've told you to check it out, maybe I should do it too. The nose that this particular reviewer has is cherry, vanilla custard, oak, light orange citrus, warm and pleasant with a gentle intensity. I totally agree with that. I think I found some nuttiness in there that they didn't find. That's pretty spot on with my experience. The palate here, oak, dark chocolate, caramel, sweet, dark fruit, and leather. A soft delivery, a thick mouthfeel, it tastes like less than its stated proof. I totally agree with all that too. They brought up the leather, which I think was definitely prominent. I didn't get as much vanilla as they suggested, or spice, frankly. I had a lot of oak. I felt like the spice that they're calling out, I found to be more oak. And I didn't get the cinnamon, really. Baking spices have a very particular flavor, in my opinion. Perhaps this is sort of like a raw spice cinnamon, so the bitterness that I'm getting from the oak is actually sort of spicy in their call, or maybe they're interpreting that as cinnamon. But it's very personal tasting notes, so you got to find people you know and like, and you agree with their tasting notes, or you find interesting tasting notes, and you got to keep engaged with them, because that's going to tell you, if you like something or not. And their finish is spice, oak, vanilla, cinnamon, medium length, slightly dry, slow ramp up heat. I largely agree with the review I got. But let's see what happens when we add a little bit of water to this bad boy. Now, adding water can be controversial. I think it's a great idea with anything over 100 proof. It's a good litmus test to see how you feel about higher and lower proof whiskeys. You may find that there are certain whiskeys you want at a higher proof and certain ones you don't. So because I don't have much left, I'm only going to add like a drop or maybe two. We'll go with 2. I just bought this, by the way. I'm very happy to have a dropper. It's hard to be precise when you're adding water to a whiskey, and you don't actually need very much. I know in previous videos I've added way too much when I was with the cask chasers, but you really only need a couple drops, which is what I've done today. Ooh, okay. It definitely changed when I put the water in there. Maybe it's just because I already read the tasting notes from someone else, but I really get the cinnamon now after adding a little water. And the sweetness of the cherries became sour. I'm getting a sour cherry with a cinnamon. All right, let's give it a taste. Wow. I'm wondering what happened here, because after reading the tasting notes from someone else, I added water, and now the taste is a lot more like what they suggested. Either it's psychosomatic and I'm just remembering what they said and I'm tasting it, or their pour might have been a little different from mine, and because mine came right out of a bottle that was pretty full, even though it originally was from a half-full bottle, there wasn't a lot of evaporation recently, so the flavors may have been more concentrated and dense. It's a fine pour. It's definitely worth trying. I almost never recommend $100 bottles, honestly. I don't. To buy a $100 bottle is cost prohibitive for most people. But if you can get your hands on this one, it's honestly worth it. This is a special occasion pour. You save it for good times and enjoy it with friends, but only a little bit. Unless they're good friends, and then you share a lot. I just don't have anything bad to say about this pour, guys. Yellowstone 101, 2019 edition. Go out and get it. I'm going to go maybe pour myself some more, and you all should keep drinking like professionals. Cheers.